welcome back to Therapeutic Yoga with myself. My name is Aaliyah Fern. I am a yoga instructor through Rumpus Movement Studio. Today, recording here, I have been working for Rachel Prince at Rumpus Movement Studio. I want to send out a quick shout out to her because she has been so dear and awesome. We are trying to still provide options for yoga classes and community gathering during the COVID-19 shutdowns, etc. So if you want more information on how to get into our Zoom classes, we have weekly passes at $15, unlimited classes. You can tune in for as many as you want. That information is either through Rumpus Movement Studio on Facebook, or rumpusmoves.com is the website for the studio. If you have any desire, you're welcome to find my kind of regular studio classes Tuesday, Thursday mornings, and then do a candlelight yin class on Thursday nights. Rachel does also lovely classes. She does bar, Nia, and yoga. So if any of those things are up your alley, or you want to learn a little bit more, get moving while you're maybe stuck at home, or working through kind of what it feels like to be a little less out there in the world, feel free to hit up those spots. Again, that's Rumpus Movement Studio on Facebook or rumpusmoves.com. So I am also going to be cross-posting this video through my Facebook, Bhakti Earth Yoga, and on my website, bhaktiearthyoga.com, so feel free to find more resources there. Today's theme is Aparigraha. So this is our fifth kind of practice with a yama. The yamas come from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is an old document that we look to for kind of our ideas of what is yoga, how do we study right, how do we live right, and how do we kind of embody what all this practice is about. So the yamas and then their counterparts, the niyamas, the yamas being the restraints, and the niyamas being more of the observances, kind of combine to create what in our practice is kind of the ethics of yoga, kind of helpful from the basis of a therapeutic or trauma-informed yoga model, because a lot of times traumas can be interpersonal. It can be a moral injury or a spiritual injury from one person to another, and without it being kind of overcomplicated or steeped in maybe a religion or a tradition that not everybody can connect to, yoga philosophy gives us the yamas and the niyamas, which is kind of outline the right ways to live. If your morals, if your being has been injured by another, sometimes turning to these things can reorient us with what is healthy and what is right. So Aparigraha translates as non-grasping, non-greed, non-attachment. Can also be non-hoarding, which is interesting reflection during our time and our current toilet paper shortage that we collectively have created. Anyway, so non-grasping, non-greed, non-attachment. So those are kind of the what not to do. Turning it into the positive or affirmative language can be also translated or understood as letting go, generosity, trust that there is plenty. So coming to maybe that abundance mindset. We talked a little bit about that in our live classes here at the studio when we were still meeting face to face. So bringing in the messages of Aparigraha for today's practice. I wanted to start out with instruction on the Mushti mantra. So this is a mantra we create with a fist. I'll get a little bit closer. So we create a fist, and then wrapping the thumb over to the ring finger right here, and it's on both sides. Same hand position for the mudra, Mushti mudra here. And then allowing ourselves to sit with it. If cross-legged feels good for you as a starting place, you can wrap those legs a little bit tighter. You can extend the legs, whatever feels comfortable to you. as a starting place. You can sit up, I'm sitting on my blanket, sitting up on a little bit more stuff can always help relax the legs a little bit more. So if a blanket feels good, maybe get a couple blankets, see what it feels like to sit on more stuff. From the Mushti Mudra, this is our hand position for aiding in letting go. We're going to allow ourselves to let go of any pent-up emotion or energy. By creating this fist, we're connecting with that intention. So hands can be gently on the lap, then come in towards center. If you want to bring it a little bit closer to heart, you can wrap those fists into heart. And I'll invite just a little bit of breath awareness, allowing yourself to connect to where you feel you are seated, maybe what's around you, if you want to name a few colors or textures that you see. Naming shapes sometimes can be a grounding practice. Maybe allowing that awareness to come inward, maybe noticing how you feel in this position. If there's anything else that you want to soften or let go of here. And I wanted just to offer a little bit of focus back into our intention of Aparigraha. This comes from teacher Morgan Bettini. Aparigraha asks us to trust life like we trust the breath. Can we take in all the nourishment of the present moment and then fully let it go, trusting that more nourishment will come? Relationships. Can we trust relationships will come? Homes. Can we trust our home is available? Trusting food, routines. We forget to trust life, to trust the exhale, and let go. So I ad-libbed a little bit in there. I'll read back through her quote. Aparigraha asks us to trust life like we trust the breath. Can we take in all the nourishment of the present moment and then fully let it go, trusting that more nourishment will come? Relationships, homes, food, routine. We forget to trust life, to trust the exhale and let go. And I found another interesting quote from the Buddha, attributed to Buddha. You can only lose what you cling to. It's the idea that as we cling to things in our life, be it possessions or people or ideas, ideologies, belief systems, clinging to the sense of freedom that we have experienced, at least in my location, my social location, Western culture, rural America, comes with the sense of, I guess, entitlement to ways that we can move and things that were provided and guarantees and things that I guess, as I've been reflecting on this topic, feels like we also are kind of missing the resilience of going without or changing and adapting. So I think that what I'm feeling called for in this practice of Aparigraha and letting go is to re-examine really what have been, at least my privileges, the things that I've taken for granted, that might not come so easily in the present time, and maybe not for a very long time, and maybe not again in my future. I choose through the intention of Aparigraha to let those things go and trust instead what it is that I need is going to be provided. What I need will come. Just like that breath, every time I let go of an exhale, I'm trusting that the new inhale will be there. So noticing that we can only lose what it is we cling to. Trying to let go of some of that clinging. And if you're anything like where I am in here, this grasp is actually becoming a little bit uncomfortable, and I want to physically let go of these hands and this mudra, and I'm going to invite that movement here. So releasing those hands. I want to invite as well coming into Hakini Mudra. So open fingers, fingertips together, fingers spread wide, and then the hands are also separated like this. If you ever did that spider on the mirror exercise, finger stretch looks a little bit like that, but then it's a hold kind of still. Again, mudra can come into heart center, it can come low in the lap, wherever it feels good to you to hold this. This Hakini Mudra aids us in powering the brain, aids in thinking and concentration. So part of what is beneficial about yoga as a practice for all people, as well as those of us who have moved through traumas in our life, that we're coming to empower ourselves with focus, with the ability to concentrate, to not be hijacked by our alarm systems, our neurology, coming back to our ability to choose what we notice, when, for how long. Aiding that thinking and concentration with this mudra. And then I wanted to invite a practice of an aware breath. And this is something that I've adapted from Thich Nhat Hanh, A Miracle of Mindfulness, and the teaching in that book. Comes with a little bit of a saying. So as I breathe in, on my inhales, I say to myself mentally, breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. With the exhale, I say to myself, breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. So inviting that practice here, breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Translating this into your own quiet mind. Offering about 3 more times here. I'll take one more vocal part through the mantra. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Maybe 2 more breaths silently to yourself. Maybe 1 more breath. You're welcome to take this practice as long as you wish to. You can pause the video, take 5 minutes to yourself to breathe in this way. Keep coming back to that focus and concentration, noticing that in-breath, noticing that exhale or out-breath. And this is a practice that I invite, especially when I'm conscious of what it is I'm taking for granted, and that shifting that intention to trust. Shifting it to kind of releasing that gift of life force. Every time I bring it in, honoring that gift. Every time I exhale, release whatever needs to come out of me, trusting that next in-breath is going to be coming too. So that's kind of where I wanted to start with this practice. I do want to also offer some movement and a little bit more energy in our asana or pose practice today. So I have created a little bit of a sequence, I guess, that is adapted both to chair and to standing practice. So I will demonstrate both. Feel free, if you have a sense of what it feels best to you, go there, and as I'm talking through other things, then you can just allow yourself to notice that those are also options, and you might pick them up at another time. I do ask in our kind of therapeutic focus and our yoga for resiliency and trauma that you do give yourself the benefit of gentleness, staying aware of the present moment, staying aware of if there's pain involved, if there's extra discomfort that doesn't feel good to you, if it's a negative experience, that you allow yourself to make a change. All of this is just by invitation. It's just an example of what might be possible for you to bring into your practice. Not everything is going to be right for everybody, but I try to offer an array that you can find something to connect to, even if it's just coming back to this breath, coming back to a seat or an easy pose, an easy place. Just coming back to that aware breath, knowing when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out. So I want to transition. I'm going to go ahead and take it to standing and to the chair, moving my blanket off to the side for now. That blanket can be handy in the chair also, if that's an adaptation that you want to make for yourself. It can be used to cover the back of the chair. You can use a dining chair here, a folding chair if you have one. So I'm just going to place this chair here where I think we can still kind of fit in the frame. Starting with an energy bath today. So this is also a practice of letting go. And this can be from chair or standing. Take it where you want it. It can be an energy bath with a pat. It can be an energy bath with a rub. It can be an energy bath with kind of a sweeping motion. So I'm just going to invite, starting maybe with the arms. I like the sweeping motion, and kind of sloughing off the gunk, the energetic, kind of emotional bleh that kind of feels like it sticks to me. So you can start maybe with the back of the head. We're advised not to touch our faces. Usually I would kind of also brush over my face, maybe just doing a little bit of a wind wipe. You can kind of come down to the abdomen, the belly. This is your body. It's yours to engage with, to touch, to respect, to honor. So whatever it feels like to you, wherever you want to kind of take that energy bath, you can come down the legs. Even from standing, you can kind of get what's behind you. The bottoms of the feet are great places to kind of cleanse and brush. Maybe the whole feet, the ankles, all the toes, all of that. Maybe the other leg comes in. This is going to be a standing balance practice also, lifting one foot off the floor at a time. So here's your energy bath. And then when we're done with that, we can kind of just clap it away, brush it away, shake it, flick it. Flicking feels good. And you can kind of get a little bit more loose with it if you want to just kind of wiggle out any other thing, stuffness, stickiness, boredom, if that's been a part of your life, letting all of that go. Good. So that's our energy bath. Feel free to do that for yourself as many times a day as you feel burdened or stuck. It can be a really great way just to kind of reset and refresh. Okay, so our half sun salutation. I wanted to bring in a little bit of movement here to kind of open up the body and the spine. I'll show it first from seated. Let's just scoot back just a little bit so I stay more in the frame. I like to turn to the diagonal so you can kind of see, it's not a perfect side view, it's not a perfect front view. I like to switch it up. Diagonal feels like a good place. I scoot forward in the chair because my legs are short. I want my feet flat on the ground. So feel free to find what feels right for you. Knees are about hip width distance here. Starting with a nice tall spine, so rising up through the crown of the head, shoulders coming back and down. If you are in a standing mountain pose, you can release, or sitting, you can also release the hands down, or you can bring them to heart center. Wherever it is that you are based out of, be it a chair and the feet, or just the feet and standing, feel free to press those surfaces away, rise up in energy. Allow yourself to invite breath into the practice. Full inhales and exhales. Feeling the energy. Muscles can be strong here and supporting. And then when you're ready to start the practice, inviting a deep breath in. Maybe sweeping the hands part way or all the way up. With an exhale, you can come to a forward fold. And seated, I like to chase my hands down the legs. Soft head and neck at the bottom, release the spine. With the next inhale, hands coming to the knees, I like to just lift the heart, get a nice stretch in the upper back. Exhale, rounding it down, softening head and neck. And then inhaling, rising it all the way back up. Exhaling, hands coming to heart center. So I'll demonstrate that one more time. Deep breath in, hands coming high. Exhaling into a forward fold, soft head and neck at the bottom. Inhaling, just lifting the heart, hands bracing the knees. Exhaling, full forward fold. Inhaling to rise up to seated. And exhaling, hands coming to heart center. I'm going to demonstrate the same practice through a standing pose. If this feels really good to you, you like it in the chair, stick here. I'm just going to shift so we can kind of get a wide variety of options in the playbook. I'll start again here, just from standing in a mountain pose, hands pressing together and shoulders open. Nice deep breath, rising the hands nice and high. Maybe a little bit of a back bend at the top if you like it. Exhaling, I'm going to start just by coming down halfway. So there are a few different options in the Sun Salutation, even just the half standing salutation. For a forward fold, you can just come about halfway where the back stays flat, hands on the knees with the shins. You can also take it into what we call a ski pose, a little bend in the knees, elbows resting on those knees, and then the head can also hang here so you get that nice stretch in the spine. Kind of like this. You can also take it to the full forward fold, where we hinge forward from the hips, release the head and the neck, and allow the spine to be soft. I'm just going to roll it up gently here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate all three of those versions as it looks in the flow. Starting off with just staying at that halfway lift, taking that extra breath so that we get that next exhale back into our forward fold, but we're going to stay in the half lift. I'll describe it as I'm going, so if you're confused, stick with me. Deep breath in when you're ready. Rising up, maybe part way or all the way with the arms. Exhaling, I'm going to only come down to forward fold halfway. One more breath here, aligning the posture. Full exhale, staying with our half forward fold. Bend into the knees with the next in-breath, rising up to standing. And exhaling, hands coming to heart center. So one more time, just like that, so you can see it. Deep breath in, sweeping the arms up. Back bend option, exhaling into a halfway fold if you want to only go this far. One more deep breath in, lifting in the tailbone. Full exhale, press the shoulders away from the ears. Next breath in, knees come to bend, rising up, sweeping the sky. Back bend option, exhaling hands to heart center. Good. So that is standing flow with just the halfway fold. The ski pose and the full forward fold, we will use that extra breath to come to that halfway lift and meet up with whoever might be there. And then take it back into whatever depth of fold. So I'm going to show it what it looks like from the ski pose. Hands can start at heart center. Deep breath in, lifting as high as you want to with those hands or arms. Back bend option at the top. Exhaling, coming into forward fold in ski pose, soft head and neck. Inhaling to come to halfway lift, flat back, hands to the knees or shins. Exhaling back into a ski pose to soften the head. Inhaling to lift in the heart. Rising it all the way up to standing. And exhaling hands to heart center. So I'll demonstrate that one more time. So this is the, it's kind of an in-between the half fold and the full fold. Ski pose. Deep breath in. Back bend option. Exhaling, elbows to knees, ski pose. Inhaling to halfway lift, straightening the legs, hands bracing, coming to flat back. Exhaling back to ski pose, soft head and neck. Inhaling, rising it all the way up. Back bend option at the top. Exhaling, hands to heart center. I'm going to do another couple of rounds, this time demonstrating the full forward fold. So this might be something, if you have joined me for community classes, that we do quite a lot of. But allow yourself to find the depth that works for you. It can be different day to day. Starting with a nice deep breath when you're ready. Arms can come up if you want to. Back bend option. Exhaling into the full forward fold if that's your choice. Rising to halfway lift, finding a flat back on the inhale. Exhaling back into the full forward fold. Soft head and neck. Bending the knees, lifting in the heart first. Rising up to standing, little back bend option. Hands can come to heart center. One more time, full forward fold. Deep breath in to lift up. Lengthen the spine, keeping it long, even as we lower it down. Inhaling to halfway lift. Flat back, shoulders away from ears. Exhale, forward fold. Deep breath in, bending in the knees. Rising with the heart. Coming standing or back bend. And exhaling, hands coming to heart center. So, 4 different options. We have the chair version. We have only going halfway and staying there for the extra breath. We have coming all the way down to ski pose, then alternating with the half lift. And then we have the full forward fold, inhaling to half lift and coming back down to forward fold. So hopefully something in there makes sense for your body and your practice today, and then you can adjust day by day. That is the gift of that Sun Salutation. A few more things that I want to offer. Another one is practice, as I learned from my trainers in Yoga for Resiliency and Trauma. Yoga for Resiliency and Trauma, Becca Odom and Anna Robis. Love them. Love to you guys if you're tuning in. Breath of joy. I'm going to go ahead and take it back to the folding chair first, so you can see what that looks like. Okay. And I will take it again to that diagonal, so you can kind of see where I'm at. Starting with, I come forward in the chair so my feet can be flat. Go ahead and make those adjustments for yourself. It's based on a 3-part inhale, so you can do, if the arms and shoulders aren't maybe super mobile or not feeling great today, you can just kind of do it with a little bit of movement from the elbows. If you really want to, you can keep it small. It can be fingertips, maybe just one finger like you're conducting a mini tiny orchestra. Also an option to take a little bit more energy and use the arms in a full swing. So it's a 3-part inhale. We inhale, arms forward, arms out. Still inhaling, arms come up. Exhaling, hands can come low, and you can kind of just lean it forward as far as you want to. It can be a full forward fold where you really get into it. You can separate the legs a little bit into that exhale. If that's not safe for you, keep it small. You don't have to lean forward at all. You can just kind of push that breath out, that letting go kind of movement with the exhale. Hands can clap the lap. So I'll show a smaller version, movement from the elbows. So it's inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. I'll do one without saying the inhales and the exhales, but just breathing loudly. Hopefully you can hear it. So that might be an adaptive version that you can use. If you want more energy here, I'll kind of show more of a moderate version, separating the feet a little bit so my torso can come forward and my head can kind of come forward. Deep breath in. One more. Okay, and once we're down, we can kind of come back slowly, not needing that momentum to rush back up, but giving ourselves a little time to equilibrate, a little rush of the blood back down to the body from the head. So that's kind of the small version that you can do, the bigger version that you can do with that full forward fold between the legs. Taking it to any other kind of in-between area that feels right for your practice. I'll show also what that looks like from standing and a couple of variations as well that you can use. Breath of joy, okay? So from standing, An adapted version can look like on that exhale, leaning back and just bringing those hands to the knees. So I'll show you that version a couple of times. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. So if that feels good for you, you can do that from standing. Feel free to take that practice. I'll go ahead and show you that kind of deeper version where we separate the legs wider than hip distance, and with that exhale, we come down through the legs. Whew. Okay, and then we use that momentum on the way back up to start that next in-breath. Okay, so a little bit larger. Inhale, forward first. Inhale, 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 exhale. Woo, the hat really wants to go. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. One more. And again, when you kind of land here, put your hat back on if you've lost it. And then allow yourself to kind of roll up slowly, adjust slowly, get back to standing safely. Noticing that we're going to be equilibrating, that blood's going to be coming back down from the head into the body. So this is what we kind of call an energizing breath. It can be really handy if you feel a little sluggish getting out of bed in the morning. This could easily replace your cup of coffee. It's a super energizing breath. Feels great. Use it when you need it. If you need a little boost, a little positivity in your life, a little joy. Breath of joy here. Part of what makes it energetic is that you're getting that longer period of inhale and shorter exhale. So as we work with our neurology, the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system, this is more of a sympathetic activator, which means we're going to be activating, we're energizing, we're filling up, we're getting ready, which can be a super helpful way to kind of adapt in your different modes of life. A lot of times in this class we've been talking about calming it down, letting it be peaceful, let it be slower, and those are the times, the breath practices that we utilize a longer exhale than inhale. So in this place, this breath of joy, we're adding more time to the inhale and a shorter exhale. You can try it for yourself and just notice the difference. Cool. So I wanted to bring in a Warrior 2 practice as well, so I want to share this from the chair. I'm going to just kind of show how this pose adapts to the chair and invite a Warrior 2 for you today. And then later on, we'll build on it with a little bit more options and a sequence that I created that I love. I call the Artemis Flow. So, but for today, just showing the Warrior 2, I'm going to start from the folding chair. Okay. So, and this isn't necessarily just a way to adapt the practice for lesser mobility or limited mobility. It really is a great way to practice for any body. I find that it just takes different leg strength than in a standing pose. So I want to offer starting. I'll put my left leg out, stacking the knee and the ankle right in line vertically. Left toes are going to point out to the side. Okay. So then the right leg extends out this direction and toes point toward the front. So it becomes about a 90-degree angle in the feet as such. And then if you've got the flexibility and you want to kind of come to the edge of the chair, you can work those feet to where the heel is in line with the center of the arch. not feeling great for my body today, so I'm going to adapt it where this leg is a little further forward. And that's a great thing to do. Give yourself just the challenge that you need. Doesn't have to be heroic, doesn't have to be forced, shouldn't be forced. We want to come back to that place of gentleness. So even right now, I'm getting a super great hip opening stretch in this shape. As we kind of finish setting up the pose, inviting the arms to come out, shoulder height, and then reaching through those fingertips. So we're taking line of energy from center, reaching through the shoulders, reaching through the elbows, reaching through the wrists, and reaching through the fingers. And then the gaze comes forward over these front middle fingers. So lifting and aligning the spine, tucking the tailbone underneath, flattening through the back, and then charging energy through, especially the quadriceps in this leg, feeling the feet on the floor and pressing it away so that we're energizing into the pose. I'll offer just a couple more rounds of breath here. If you set up this shape, feel free to take your time with it or release it when you feel that you need to. Maybe taking one more breath here. And letting that shape go. So feet can walk in, you can heel toe those. You can take a little side-to-side movement if that feels good in your body, feels good in my body. And then we'll just set up the same shape on the other side. So I'll kind of also give it from, let's see, if I go this way, you might see it differently. Oops. So I'm going to take my right knee forward this time. So ankle and knee, again, are in line. If the knee is way out over the toes, kind of like this one is, we'll just walk the foot forward so that the knee and ankle are all stacked up. So I like to scoot to the edge of the chair, okay? Left leg this time coming out behind me, toes pointing to my front, right toes pointing toward my side, okay? Rising those hands up to shoulder level. So tucking the tailbone and lifting up through the back. Gaze comes out over those front fingers, and then reaching through shoulders, elbows, wrists, hands, and fingers. And this is just an option. You can activate the pose or energize the pose in this way. If it doesn't feel good to you, letting it go. If you want to spend a few more breaths here, you can kind of continue to feel through the shape, pressing the floor away from the feet. Find the place that feels comfortable, a comfortable challenge. Maybe an option to start into this pose and reset it a couple of times. Maybe one more breath here if you've stayed in our holding. Exhale to release. Good. So we can heel toe those feet together. Take that little shift side to side. You can brace hands on that chair for stability. Awesome. Okay. From standing, I'll also offer example of this pose in standing. So if you want to try this, feel free. We take a wide stance here, and then I'll start, again, kind of the same side. So I'll start with my left toes pointing toward the side, right toes pointing toward the front, okay? And then we take the bend into the left knee. And I'm going to open the stance a little bit because that's my comfort place. Knee and ankle, you can notice, are right on top of each other in line. Tailbone is still tucked under so that the lower back is nice and flat. Hands coming up to shoulder height. And then reaching those fingertips point toward either side wall, like I'm going to touch both walls at the same time. And then taking some breath here. Gaze over the front middle fingers, feet pushing the floor away. Nice deep breaths in. Full breaths out. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. And I'm going to leave it there. So go ahead and hold that shape for as much as you want to. You can pause the video. I just got to shake my hips out a little bit. Pause the video, come in and out of that pose a couple of times, whether you're in the chair or in standing, if you want to kind of get a sense of how that feels in your body as you approach it and then reapproach it. So this time right toes are coming over, we're just switching the feet. Right toes toward the side, left toes toward the front. Arms can come up to shoulders, and then the bend in the knee stays right over the ankle. Okay? Gaze comes out over this time the right hand or fingers, reaching those arms to touch either wall, and then deep breaths. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. Maybe 2 more breaths or so, just like that. One more breath with intention. And on that inhale, you can let it go. Good. So coming back, maybe walking those feet in, shifting the hips a little bit, shaking it out. That's our Warrior 2 practice for today. So I wanted to also bring in a little bit of balance practice. Balance still feeling really important to me. I reflected and processed some of that in my therapy this week with my counselor, whom I love dearly. She's super helpful. But finding that sense of balance, so inviting balance poses, maybe even just practicing a little bit more, standing on one foot or sitting, kind of on one hip, one leg, something like that. Different ways of testing the balance. I'm going to offer today Eagle Pose. So this is a traditional balance posture in yoga practice. A little bit complex, so I'm going to try to break it down slowly for you. Feel free to follow at your pace. Get what you can get, and then approach it a few times. Watch the video again, or find another resource that's helpful to you. You don't have to get it all at once. There's no expectation of that. From a chair, adapted version of this, again, I'm kind of forward in the seat, so just my sit bones are on the edge of the chair, feet are on the floor, sitting up nice and tall. Deep breath in, rising the arms up, hands just kind of face each other, parallel. And then exhale, I'm taking my right arm first underneath my left arm, trying to cross at the elbows. From here, an adapted version is to just place the hands on the shoulders. If you've got more mobility, you can practice kind of wrapping the arms around each other, twisting it so that the palms kind of come to face each other. Okay, so this is our eagle arms. Noticing that the right arm is the arm that's underneath as the elbows cross. And then, actually, I've been doing this a little bit to practice for the video, so I'm just going to come back to shoulders for the moment. Right elbow is underneath, so right knee comes over top. And this is, if this is adaptive for you and you can cross the legs at the knees, go ahead and take that. If you can't, just cross wherever you can cross. If it's the ankles or just maybe the tops of the feet. Maybe those feet just stay by side, that's okay too. The point is to get a little bit of compression. So part of our letting go practice, Aparigraha, we're kind of squeezing into major blood vessels and nerves and joints, a compressed shape. Another option for that leg is if you're feeling flexible, you can wrap the toes behind the ankle and really squeeze up that shape. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I'm doing. So this is a really compressed pose, and then also the intention comes into squeezing those arms and legs together. It's a purification pose, that way of letting go what we no longer need. One more intentional breath here if you choose it. And then allow yourself to kind of unwind and release. Deep breath in to rise up. Exhaling, letting it go. Okay, you can shake that first side out. Seated eagle on the second side. Deep breath in to rise the arms. This time swinging the left arm underneath the right. Elbows can cross, hands can come to shoulders, or you can wrap to face the palms toward each other. It's a little bit hard to see from my angle, but that's okay. And then as left arm is under, left knee is going to go over. Okay. So again, maybe crossing at the knees, maybe just crossing at the ankles. You can get a nice squeeze here too. Wherever it feels possible for you to go, comfortably, safely. If you want to try to wrap those toes behind the ankle, maybe give yourself that option, or just give yourself the challenge. Notice what feels possible and what doesn't, without judgment. So squeezing into the shape wherever you are here today. Again, kind of giving my shoulders a break, gonna just release it here, hands to shoulders. Be where you need to be. Breathe into your pose and provide that squeeze for yourself. Squeezing arms, squeezing legs. Deep breaths in. And full exhales, maybe aligning the posture a little bit more, stacking the spine, lifting out of the seat. Maybe taking one more breath here, breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. And letting it go. When you feel ready to release it, you can kind of shake it or wiggle it out. So this practice in standing as a balance practice comes to look a little bit different, but not a lot. Same setup. Arms rise with the breath in, palms parallel. Exhale, right arm crosses under left. Okay, hands to shoulders or palms together. And then taking the seat back into chair pose, tucking the tailbone under, back is nice and flat. Shifting the weight into the left foot, and that could just be a little bit of a shift. You might just pop the heel, you might come up to a toe or a few toes, maybe the ball of the foot is grounded. Okay, so in our chair pose, if you want to take it further, right knee crosses over left knee. Checking in with yourself. Does that feel okay? Maybe that's my edge, that's where I'm going to lose my balance. If you feel steady, the body feels comfortable trying for it and wrapping that toe around the ankle. And then you can sit that chair back a little bit deeper, get that nice deep squeeze. One more breath wherever you are in your shape. Coming to release when you feel ready. Ooh, deep breath in. And exhale to let it go. So this is kind of a deep practice. These are deep poses. Again, just taking it where you feel ready to take it. Don't push the limit, I would say. Reach toward the limit, notice where the limit is, get a little communication with the limit, but keep yourself safe. Do what you want to do, no expectations. So we'll take the second side. Deep breath in. Palms facing each other. This time left arm comes underneath, crossing at the elbows, maybe hands to shoulders, or taking the pose with the hands wrapping. Okay, deep seat here, into chair pose, aligning the spine, and then shifting the weight into the right standing leg, left leg. If it's possible for you, you can cross the knee. Always an option to leave a toe or two down. Stay on the ball of the foot. Stay on the foot, but just maybe take a little more weight into the right side. You choose your depth. If that feels okay, you want to wrap those toes, you can take it to that depth if it's possible for you, or maybe as you practice it becomes more open over time. Nice deep breaths here. Maybe one more full inhale. One more full exhale. And then releasing the pose with control. So if you happen, full inhale, full exhale. Okay, so if you happen to fall out of the shape in a balance practice like that, and you kind of have to catch yourself, that's okay. Go back to where you feel like, okay, here's my balance, here's where I feel like I have good balance, 5 toes on the floor, heel is lifted. With control, I can release back to both feet. Leaving yourself with that sense of, I can have control here. I am able to kind of keep it strong, keep it stable. So that is our balance practice for today. I think I'm just gonna keep it to the floor. I thought about some shoulder stretches that I'll bring into a future practice. Shoulder stretches are also super great for letting go. Feel free to kind of explore for yourself what that might look like. I want to offer just a few more poses today in our practice. The first being a bound angle, a seated bound angle pose. So this is an all the way on the floor kind of shape. So bringing the bottoms of the feet together, the knees out to the sides. If this doesn't feel super good for you, or you need a little bit more lift, you can tuck. You can stack blankets here, you can get super high. I'm on the fly, I'm not thinking of a way to do the bound angle from the chair. You can do a half bound angle, one leg at a time coming in toward a knee. The full bound angle here would be both legs together. Even from the floor, you can just do 1 foot at a time in a half bound angle. Totally good, totally good. I'm going to offer, if it feels possible to you and open to you, a bound angle pose where we lift in the heart, spine is nice and tall, shoulders roll back and down. Okay. Grounding the sit bones into the floor, maybe working into softening through the hips and the knees a little bit. Giving breath to this place. Noticing if you feel a stretch. If so, you might just sit with it and breathe into it. If you want a little bit more, or to take a spine stretch option, you can take it into forward fold also. So it could be a little bit of a lean forward with a flat back. Or as the back starts to round, you go a little deeper, the head and neck starts to soften. It can be a full forward fold, to whatever depth feels right for you. Sometimes you notice that the hips feel really intense. You can walk those feet out a little ways as well. Sometimes that can help lessen that intensity to find your comfortable place. I like to take the backs of the hands to the floor because that helps me soften and release the arms and the shoulders as well. That same kind of sense of letting it go. And then taking deep breaths. Maybe one more inhale. One more full exhale. And of course, you're welcome to stay in this practice as long as it feels good for you. If you feel ready, I'll invite starting to rise the upper body back up. Bring those knees into center. Hands can support behind you. And maybe just taking those knees side to side like windshield wipers, helping to release that stretch. Okay, now here is where if you don't have a blanket, I will invite you to find one. Also could be a towel or a spare yoga mat. Okay. So this blanket is folded in half. Okay, so you can see that there's 2 layers there maybe. 1 layer, 2 layers. Folded in half, so the fringe is together. That's another way of thinking about that. Going to fold it in half again, the other way. Okay, and then starting to roll. So I'm just going to make a spine roll, rolling toward the fringe. If your blanket has fringe like this, or what would be maybe the short edge. I'm going to set this pose up maybe from a couple of different angles. This is a supported fish pose with a blanket. So I'll first show you kind of from this perspective, with my notes out of the way. If I bring the blanket roll to the base of the spine, right where the tailbone connects as well, I can lean myself back, roll down onto the blanket. Head and neck are straight up, but I'm going to watch the camera. Talk to the camera. So then arms can release out from the shoulders in any place it feels comfortable. You can always connect the hands to the belly or the heart here. Okay? So legs are just kind of out long. You can bring it into a bound angle if you want to as well. Always an option. And then allow yourself to have the spine supported in a nice back bend here. This is a heart opening pose, another place where we can practice letting go. So breathing deep into the space around the heart and the lungs. Noticing if there's anything that feels uncomfortable. If your torso is long and the spine is longer than the blanket, you might add more head support as well. It can be with the hands if that feels okay. It can be with a pillow or another blanket. So finding what feels good for you, noticing where else you can soften or relax. Continuing to explore what you feel and just letting go a little bit more and a little bit more with every breath. And take about one more breath here. Full exhale. And then I like to release this pose by bending my feet to the floor and rolling the knees to one side. So I roll off the blanket all the way sideways. And then I can kind of just press myself back up to seated. Blanket can go away. Oh, not true. We're going to bring this one in. One more pose. So keep the blanket roll, or if you have a block at home, you can use a block or a couple of thick books. Something that's stable. So in my practice, I'm aligned with the mat, but for demonstration's sake here, I'm going to go sideways. Coming back to the blanket roll on the back, lifting the hips here by pressing the feet into the floor. Blanket comes kind of right above the tailbone to the sacral bone, which is the triangle bone at the back of the pelvis. Triangle bone. It's hard to do a triangle upside down. From here, a little support in the hips, offering what we call the waterfall pose. So feet are just going to come high. I kind of notice there's a balance point where the legs feel almost weightless, straight over the hips. Gaze straight up. For those of you not talking into a camera. And allow yourself to notice maybe the energy of this pose. A full inversion allowing us to get the blood flow from the feet or the extremities back into the core body, the heart, the lungs, and the brain. Getting a little lymph release here. So lymph nodes, especially through the legs, getting a chance to kind of cleanse, replenish, also letting go. I get a little sense of pressure on my upper back and shoulder blades that feels really good. So a way of squeezing out some of the tension if you carry it in the upper body, upper back. Taking a few breaths to yourself. Maybe coming back to that aware breath. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. Maybe taking one or two more breaths here as you choose. And one more breath, letting go of anything else you're holding on to. And then when you feel ready, you can connect those feet back to the floor. Lift the hips. Take the blanket out, roll down slowly, one vertebra at a time. Good. So that's more or less the end of the instruction of the video. I'm going to offer a little bit of Yoga Nidra. So from here, if you feel ready, you can take yourself into Shavasana, which is legs long down the mat, arms by the sides. This is just so I can talk to you. Flat head, more or less, right? Gaze straight up, back to the hands to the floor so the palms can be open. From that place, go ahead and stay in your relaxation if it feels good to you. If you want to come back to seated and just take a little bit of seated relaxation, this is also a great practice to do in a chair, a seated relaxation from the chair, if that feels like the place you want to be at this moment. I'm just going to offer a chance to talk through a Yoga Nidra, so a focused, progressive relaxation. Yoga Nidra is the yoga of sleep. So allowing yourself to start with awareness of the breath. Okay, breath coming in, breath coming out. Allowing that breath to be natural, releasing any control of that breath, letting it just flow gently, just the way it needs to. Allowing yourself to bring that breath, or your awareness, or both, all the way down into the toes and the feet. Softening or relaxing with the breath through the bottoms of the feet, the arches and the heels. Softening and relaxing or noticing the ankles. Awareness for or softening the lower legs, the shins and the calves. Noticing or relaxing the knees. Softening or noticing the upper legs, quadriceps and hamstrings. Softening and noticing through the low belly and the low back. Noticing or softening the internal organs, allowing them to be free and float here. Noticing or softening into the rib cage, the space around the heart and the lungs. Breathing in, noticing or softening through the chest and collarbones. Noticing or softening into the shoulders, the upper arms. Noticing and softening elbows, forearms and wrists. Noticing and softening through the hands, palms of the hands and the backs of the hands and all 10 fingers. Noticing and relaxing into the upper back and the shoulder blades. Noticing or softening the throat, the neck, the jaw. Noticing, feeling or softening through the mouth, the nose, and the cheeks. Noticing and softening through the ears and the eyes. Noticing or softening the brow, the temples, and the forehead. Maybe noticing or relaxing through all the muscles of the scalp. Taking a few rounds of breath here. Going back to our teaching of Aparigraha, letting go, generosity, and trust. Aparigraha asks us to trust life like we trust the breath. Can we take in all the nourishment of the present moment and then fully let it go, trusting that more nourishment will come in relationships, homes, food, routines? We forget to trust life, to trust the exhale, and let go. Allowing this message of trust and letting go to be as true for you as feels good. Maybe allowing it to come into you with the breath, maybe coming into your heart, into your mind, integrating it into your cells, your bones and your blood. you're still kind of in this practice, in this Yoga Nidra, or this calm place, you're welcome to stay in that softness. If you want to add a little bit of movement in, you can start by wiggling the fingers and the toes, maybe circling the wrists and the ankles. Coming back to bigger movements, maybe full body stretches if you want to take the arms and the legs away from each other. Stretch high from the tips of the toes to the tips of the fingers. Maybe draw the knees into a hug on the back or in the seat. Maybe rolling to one side if you are on the floor, and pressing yourself up into a seated position if you wish to close the practice in this way. And as is typical, customary for my practices, my classes, offering a chance to close this practice with a chant of 3 Om or 3 Hum, depending on your syllable of comfort and choice. Starting with a deep breath. Closing with gratitude, honoring the light, the love, and the divine in each of you. Namaste. I hope that you have enjoyed this practice. If there's anything that you want to know more about, feel free to leave a question. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment, good, constructive, otherwise. I would love to know who is finding this practice, how you're using it, what feels useful, and if there's anything that I can bring in that would be more helpful. Thank you so much for joining in, however long you have been, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.